As a fellow member and victim of Black fatigue, I want to raise my right hand in solidarity to all the other Black people who have stood up and said that they too are tired of all the foolishness. Some of us have been here for a long time. Some of us have tried to say things and been shot down, called horrible names by people who look just like us. And then we have a certain party who also reinforces this behavior that allows for one group to denigrate the other with no consequences.
I can always tell, like just from optics, I can tell optics, how they talk, how they communicate. The more that they then move, you can tell the difference between a conservative woman and a liberal woman. Like they have a look, they have a demeanor, they have a disposition that actually is pleasant and you can communicate with them. And in person, it's even more of an aura around them. Conservative women or women that take responsibility and live their lives a certain way, they have a whole nother vibe to them.
How long did you think that you were going to be able to call people names and then people were not going to start calling them back? And how narcissistic is it that you feel entitled to call people names, but then when they're called to you, you want to cry victim? I am tired of a community or certain people in the community who absolutely refuse to call out any bad behavior that they see. Egregious things that are obviously wrong that we simply will not admit to because racism. And when we are called to account on anything, all we do is blame racism, slavery, systemic, whatever. And people are sick of y'all.
And that's true. Like, we live in the greatest country inside of the world. Honestly, we have the greatest country in the world. And I will tell you that this is truly, even today, is still truly the land of opportunity. And we can choose to go to school, you can choose to take out student loans or not. Most people's decisions were self inflicted wounds. And we raise our children to be victims, and we don't take any accountability or responsibility. And people still blame racism, and they don't even know what people of yesteryear went through. It's so bad that they don't even understand that black people from the 50s and the 60s and even the 70s to an extent did exponentially better than black people today, even though they faced more racism and more issues and problems than we ever will. And they thrived. They absolutely thrived. But you can't explain it to these people that, hey, listen, get yourself together. All of the issues that's being perpetuated against us is from people that look like us. The people that go off on you are the ones that look just like you. And when you separate yourself from the racism aspect of it, when you separate yourself from the identity politics, when you separate yourself from the gender politics, and then you unleash yourself, because to be honest with you, the only thing that's truly holding you back is the fact that you keep on putting these imaginary handcuffs on yourself instead of living in your purpose. And if you're telling me that you are always a victim, always a victim, it's always somebody else's problem. And let's remove the race aspect of it. I know people, I know women who have never taken responsibility for anything that they do in their life. It's always somebody else's fault. It's their mama's fault. It's their father's fault. It's the father that they didn't have fault. Even when they become an adult, it's their son's fault. It's their daughter's fault. It's their husband's fault. And men do the same thing. And I'm using a woman as an example because women get a little bit more leeway. Men, they just have to deal with the consequences of whatever their actions are. But there are women that have never in their life, and they never will, ever take responsibility. And guess what? To the other people that is observing that person, it is exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting. The victim Olympics is crazy. Now, add in the racial component, right? Add it in from people that have never met you before, most of which probably isn't even racist themselves, have never done anything to you. And imagine holding them accountable for something that maybe their ancestors have done, but that we've overcorrected in society so much to where you're still the victim no matter what. 100 years from now, 200 years from now, 2,000 years from now, you will still hear black people say, "Oh my God, it's because of my ancestors that I can't make the right decision for myself and do the right thing. I can't take responsibility for the decisions that I made on this earth." I have never seen a person that claims racism for everything or, identity politics for everything ever say, not one time have I ever heard them say, you know what, but that's my fault that I chose a man that I wanted to open up my legs to and bust it down for a real one. That's my fault that I decided to wear a bonnet into the store and not be respected by the people that's around me. That's my fault that I never tip when I go into a restaurant. That's my fault that I treat people like trash and then automatically label them a Karen when they call me out on my bad behavior. That's my fault when somebody tells me, hey, listen, you're not a victim. You can be a victor if you change your ways, and I decide to call them out of their name even though they look like me. That's my fault for continuing to do bad behavior and get arrested and do this and do that. No, they don't take any kind of responsibility. It's the system's fault. It's somebody else. It's a mysterious white woman's fault that did this to them. No choices, no nothing. You guys can vote for whoever you want to, which you often at times vote wrong. And she's already mentioned and added in the whole, party part, the Democrat Party that continue to try to convince you guys that you are victims. But let's continue to let her cook.
I'm sick of you. And I gotta be honest, I'm really glad that the conversations are being had and that black people like me, the coons, the Uncle Toms, the bedwenches, who just want to be in their garden and mind their own business. And then they have to scroll on social media or go to Walmart and see people who look like us acting a complete fool. You guys are a disgrace to the people who actually went through all of the horrible things that you think you're going through right now. Do you think that your grandmothers and great grandparents suffered and and endured oppression that you could never understand?
They will be absolutely disgusted at what they see today. They will be 100% disgusted at what they see happening today.
Would would want to see you behave in this way after they did that hard work. Some of us have been alive long enough to know what our grandparents wanted. They wanted us to have dignity. They wanted us to build ourselves up. They didn't want us to be perpetual victims. They didn't want us to make excuses for bad behavior. You know it and I know it. And if anybody wants to speak up on what their grandparents said, I would love to hear it because it seems to have been forgotten. You know damn well this is not what they wanted. You know damn well that this is not what they fought for. For those of us who have black fatigue, we remember what our forefathers fought for. We remember why they shed their blood in the streets, not to stay mad, not to be perpetual victims, but to pick ourselves up and have the opportunity that you have that they never had. Do you know how grateful they would be if they could live in the world that you live in right now?
They will be running it up. They will be running up a bag so crazy and taking care of business and so opportunistic, and they will probably take over the world. If they had been through what they've been through, but then had the opportunities that we had today,
And and what would they say? What would they do? I'm sure that ungrateful would be in there somewhere. Ashamed would be somewhere in there. We have really dropped the ball on this, but I'm glad that we're picking it back up. And you know what else we need to start picking up? A mirror. Start looking.
facts. Facts. Stop looking out the window and start looking in the mirror and holding that person accountable. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.